all the way down to the details, it's only 7 people that have all the information. And then, of course, you have the specific generals. And those generals have troops behind them.
We are free, we are America.
We're dealing with PsyOps from both sides, the dark deep state's satanic side and the PsyOps that we're deploying in this information war. So it's very uncoupled, very confusing. Disinformation, misinformation, truths, and PsyOps, false flags. So when things don't make sense, just know that we're not going to know everything because of what I just stated. We simply don't know what we don't know. But everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's just not the end. So hang in there and never give up. So we are almost there. Our wins are many, and I will list them. What I've done is save us the time here. Go to ampnews.us, click on my page on the upper part of the navigation bar, shows John Michael Chambers, and take a look at all my public speeches at General Flynn and Clay Clark's Reawaken Tour that I've spoken at in the last 2 years. And in each of these speeches, you will get to see how, in fact, we are winning this war. Now, there is a plan. Make no mistake about it. With 8 specifics recently revealed of that plan. And then Trump truthed it. There's your validation. Don't take my word for it. President Trump truthed these 8 reveals. Jan Halper Hayes, back on August 3rd, she had shocked many during the interview appearance on British television, YouTube or whatever it may have been, to discuss the recent Trump indictments in which she claimed, and here are your 8 sound bites. Number 1, she is part of a DOD, Department of Defense, task force. Well, there's slice credibility. Number 2, the U.S. military, particularly Space Force, has all, I'll repeat, all of the evidence of exactly what happened during the 2020 and 2022 elections. We are talking about the theft. Number 3, in the reveals, showing you that there is a plan, showing you that we are winning this war, having it been truthed by President Trump, re-truthed or whatever the term is. Trump conceded the 2020 election because he knew, Trump did not concede the 2020 election because he knew that if he presented this evidence early on, there would have been a civil war. And because he felt that the people needed to see how bad it could get under Biden. Well, we've had that experience now. Also, Juan Savin has told us many, many times in this last couple of years, you've got to get 80%, more than 80% plus of the population to be aboard and awake. I think we're there now. Number 4, Trump's September 12, 2018 Executive Order 13848, you can look it up, was designed to combat foreign interference in U.S. elections with a focus on the 2020 elections. Number 5, when Trump walked in front of Queen Elizabeth as they inspected the Queen's Guard, this was an optic to tell the world that he was about to bankrupt the U.S. corporation that Grundvig and I spoke about a couple of years ago, and have the U.S. go back to being a constitutional republic. Number 6 on the reveals, to set the tone that there is a plan and that we are winning this war, of which Trump truthed. Number 6, the U.S. corporation is a creation of the 1871 Treaty of Washington, which Dr. Jan Halper Hayes described as an association between the U.S. federal government, the Crown, and the Vatican, that axis of evil, and that the U.S. taxpayers have been paying back the associated Civil War era debts ever since, by the way, designed to never be paid off. Thus, the debt slave, thus the infusion later on of the Federal Reserve and the unconstitutional income tax code. And the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional too, but it became the law of the land. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson. Number 7, it took 650 airplanes, fathom that. Just picture 650 planes to remove the U.S. gold from the Vatican Bank. And the Pope wasn't happy about that. Well, this Pope is a deep state asset, as we all well know. And thank you, Lynn Wood, Mr. Linwood for exposing what I just covered on point number 7 back 2.5 years ago at the First Reawaken tour. And number 8, Joe Biden is the president of the bankrupted U.S. corporation, not of the United States of America. Your commander-in-chief is Donald J. Trump, make no mistake about that, and he did not concede the election. Now, a few days after this show that I just highlighted here with Halper Hayes aired on August 6th, Donald Trump truthed her post with the following comment. I'm quoting the president. Dr. Jan Halper Hayes is fantastic. Everyone has got to watch her interview on election fraud with the poor sap who got taken apart by her. Thank you, Don Jr., for putting this masterpiece out to the public to see. Witch hunt. President, that's the end of quote. Of course, former National Security Advisor, our good friend and patriot and hero, General Michael Flynn, then responded to Trump's Truth Social post by saying, and I quote, "Such a clear presentation of what we're facing and what will likely happen. Hashtag MAGA, our freedom must be guarded." So we've got consensus here on those 8 points from General Michael Flynn, truthed out by the president himself. So Dr. Jan stated the Pentagon is very concerned about the state of mind of you and me, of the public, because the military, as you well know, will eventually come into play, she says. She says that there are a total of 12 members in her task force on the DOD, and their goal is to, quote, to give the right information to the PsyOps team so they know what to do next. Dr. Jan says that she is under contract with the DOD and that she was asked to join this task force because of her expertise in group dynamics of hostile corporate mergers and acquisitions. Well, this is a hostile takeover of the greatest nation on God's earth. She monitors social media through several accounts and writes reports on what she thinks is going on with the, quote, awakening, and what the obstacles are to people accepting or opening their eyes. See, folks, a lot is being done behind the scenes, and she hasn't been brought out willy-nilly. It's all part of the plan, in my humble opinion. She says she has great trust in the portion of the military that's on Trump's side, saying, quote, when you think about who Trump put in charge and who knows what's going on, all the way down to the details, it's only 7 people that have all the information. And then, of course, you have the specific generals. And those generals have troops behind them.